Hey, what's up guys? David here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Claude Code to scrape leads on your behalf in seconds. You no longer need to click through all these different platforms, export into Excel or Google Sheets, and then clean up the list from there. Claude Code will dedupe, export, clean, and even scrape for you. I've been using this for my own outbound agency. I've honestly adopted all of my workflows to have Claude Code be a proxy for everything. And it's now my orchestration layer and it's how I run my business. And so in this video, I want to arm you business owners who are looking to leverage AI or entrepreneurs that are building a business around AI with this information so you can work more efficiently. So let's dive right in. First, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need, that's not the right one. We're going to need Claude Code. So in order to access Claude Code, you're going to need a paid plan on Claude.com, or is it Claude.ai? Yeah, it's Claude.ai. You're going to need a paid plan. The $20 plan is fine. You'll just have less usage. I use the max plan and it works really well for me, but that's because I use Claude Code for everything. So if you're just getting started, the $20 plan is perfect. Next, you're going to need a terminal. You can use the terminal inside your Mac or Windows computer, totally fine. But I do recommend Cursor Anti-Gravity just because the UI it's easier to work with, if you will. And so you're gonna need a terminal. If you do go with Cursor or Anti-Gravity, you don't need a paid plan. We're gonna be using Claude Code inside of their own terminal. So there's no need to upgrade or purchase any plan for them. Next, we'll need an Apify account, which is actually $29. Not 39. So let me fix that. So $29. So far we're looking at $50, but guys, if you use this setup, you no longer need a VA, or you can save your employee $20 to $50. You could save them hours, honestly, because you're just going to be doing this, or they're going to be doing this on your behalf. Next, we're going to need a Google Cloud project with Sheets API access enabled. I'm going to walk you through that real quick. So this is everything that you need. Now I'm going to go into a quick demo of how this looks or how this works. I'm going to open up my anti-gravity folder. We already have a terminal open, so I'm going to open up Claude. And this is tailored to my workspace. I actually already have a to-do list to scrape leads with for one of my clients. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, we need to scrape leads for Cosmic using their Apify token. I believe I needed to scrape for small video production agencies and companies that are creating documentaries or independent films. Go ahead and return the parameters for that. Let me confirm, and then we'll run the scrape on a test run. So what it's doing right now is looking through its skills and the scraping scripts that it's going to be using. So here we have a proposed, let me zoom in. Okay, so here we have a proposed list of industries, job titles, locations, company size. So this looks good. This looks like it's for my ICP. Or my client's ICP, and it's going to ask me some questions before we run. Go ahead and proceed with a test run of 50, verify the accuracy, and then we'll do a full run. So just to show you what's going on while that's working here, the way that I have my Claude Code set up is based off of folder structure. So you're going to give Claude Code access to a folder, and inside that folder is a bunch of files and other folders in which Claude knows what to access based off of how you structure everything. So first, you have the claude.md file, which lives in the root. And this file is in Markdown. It's just a text file that tells Claude what its purpose is, what it's meant to do, its existence. And the one that I'm going to share with you is a 2-layer architecture that essentially tells Claude it's an orchestration layer for whatever your use case is, right? And then next we have the .env file. That's going to store all of our keys. In this case, it's our Apify key. It's not Apollo. And then for me, because I run an outbound agency, I have a clients folder, and each client has their own ICP or audience, right? This allows me to use natural language and tell Claude, hey, we're working with this client, client 2, and then we're targeting audience 2 for client 2. So I'm going to go ahead and run the scrape. And so in just a second here, we're going to get our output. I'm actually going to get ready for the output and say, go ahead and create a new tab once you're done and export those leads in a clean format that we typically have for our clients. Okay, cool. So it knows where it's going to export everything. I'm going to show you guys that. But yeah, I'm here talking to you, and like Claude is just doing this work for me. And so now you can see where the direction of leverage with AI is going, because things that might have taken all of your focus or all of your time can now just be running in the background while you're running or filming a YouTube video on a call, or even just handling more clients. And so that's really the value here. So I'm going to show you guys the end result in just a second. Okay. So we have the Claude Code scraper is now telling us everything looks good. So it even went ahead and gave us metrics on the scrape. So it looks like the target industries are accurate. Media production and animation, 96% have under 50 employees. Most of them have emails. And because I gave it that previous instruction to export the leads, it already knows where to put the leads. And so I'm just going to hit proceed. I typically like to run Claude Code with bypass permissions. I just forgot to do it on launch right here. I don't really recommend that unless you already are comfortable with it. But in just a second, we'll see it exported to our sheet. Okay, so the scrape is complete. It's been exported to its appropriate sheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and open that. And you see here, this is the exact format that I use for my outbound for my clients. I'm going to just hide that. Cool. And so this is exactly what I need. This is what I'm looking for. And so that's how easy it is, right? If you guys have ever scraped leads before, but sometimes you'll get a bunch of fields that you really don't need. And this is the exact column header structure that I use. I also like to add a couple of things after the stage column. That lets me know where we're at, because I'll do additional enrichments for personalizations and things like that. But it's that easy. So you just saw me do that in seconds. It didn't really take anything besides me speaking to my computer and this happening. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So going back to our setup. So, okay, so now it's time to install Claude Code. So what we're going to need is to open a terminal, and we're going to install using this one line command here. So you can use anti-gravity. That's totally fine. I'm going to open up a fresh anti-gravity instance. Okay, so when you open up anti-gravity, it's going to ask you to open a folder. So this is where you are going to want to give Claude Code access. You can install Claude Code globally, so it has access in any terminal, which is what the command that I'm giving you is going to do. So this -G right here is what tells your computer to install Claude Code globally. But when we open up a folder, we're going to work with Claude Code inside a specific folder. That's how we just keep things organized, and you don't really want Claude generating files all over the place. You just want to keep it in one folder. So go to anti-gravity. We're going to open a new folder. So new folder, we'll call it YouTube demo. We're going to open this folder. Cool. So now we have a fresh folder. On the right-hand side is where you can use anti-gravity's a native agent. So like Gemini Pro, you can use Claude, you can use GPT, but honestly, we don't need all that. On the left-hand side is our Explorer tab that shows us the folder structure. So I'm going to leave that open so you guys can see what's going on. But at the top of your computer, if you're using a Mac, you just want to go to Terminal, and then we'll open a new terminal. And now we have a terminal inside anti-gravity that is directed within the YouTube demo folder. So this is exactly where you'll type this command right here. So you're just going to copy that, paste it in here, and just let it do its thing until it's completely finished. And then once it's finished, all you're going to do is type in Claude. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do that for you, but that's all you need to do is type that command. And in my case, I don't like to have permissions on, so I'm going to put dangerously skip permissions. Cool. So notice how for me, Claude Code already knows what account I'm using. I'm using the Claude Max plan that I paid for. But when you launch Claude Code for the first time, it's going to prompt you to log in. It's just going to launch a browser, log in using the same email and password that you did for your Claude.ai subscription, and then you're good to go. It takes you 2 seconds. So once you're in here, you can see on the left-hand side, our YouTube demo. We don't have a folder structure. We don't have anything. And so what we're going to do is create one. It's going to be called the Claude.md file. And I actually have one right here that outlines the 2-layer architecture that I just described earlier in this video. And we're just going to copy this, paste it in here, and it's going to create our folder structure for us. And this is specifically designed for my outbound agency, and I'm giving it to you guys for free. So if you run an outbound agency, this is perfect for you. If you run a business, you might want to configure this a little bit differently, but let me just show you what's going on. So the Claude.md folder, or file rather, this is the agent's instructions. It's its purpose. Claude will always read this whenever a new session starts. The skills folder, Claude skills, this is what allows Claude to reference things that you've done in the past. So when you create a new skill, it gives it context as to what we're looking to accomplish in an agnostic fashion. So a skill, like a task in an agnostic way. The .env file, that's where we hold all of our API keys and tool access. The .tmp file, this is just for quick one-off scripts or even session context. That's where I keep my session context. The .archive, we really don't need this. I used to keep that, but I don't have that anymore. The configs is our project specifications. So for me, I actually have my client live in the root. So I'm gonna get rid of this. We'll do this instead. Cool. So in the root, we have our client folder. Inside the client folder, we have the client name, different clients, of course. And then within that client name folder, we have a README that gives us our overview and it references where the API keys are, which is usually in the .env file. Then we have the ICPs for my clients. And this is essentially our audiences. Some clients have more than one ICP, right? So anyway, we have the scrape.yaml. This is what allows me to scrape for different audiences that I've already pre-configured for each client. And then the qualify and copyright.yaml, I'm not going to get into that, but this is what I use to do additional qualification once I export leads into a sheet. And then I even copyright variables right inside the sheet directly. But I'll record that for you guys in another video. Okay, so now we have our execution folder, which lives in the root of your project folder. And this is where all the Python scripts live. The Python scripts are agnostic to like for example, we have a Python script to scrape Apify, which is what I'm showing you guys how to do. But then the scrape YAML is dependent on a specific ICP. So the scrape YAML gives the execution Apify scrape, like the Python script, the filters that it needs for a specific ICP. So the Python script is like the general execution task, and then the YAML is like the details. And then we just have these other folders that will also have other scripts inside of them. So this is a 2-layer architecture. I'm going to give this for free for you guys. Just click the link in my bio. It's totally free. You can copy this exactly like how I'm going to show you. Go ahead and go to anti-gravity. You're going to paste it in here. And then you're going to tell Claude Code instantiate this YouTube demo folder based off this claude.md file. Go ahead and create the whole folder structure. Cool. So I fed it to Claude. Now it's going to create the full workspace structure for me. So if you look on the left-hand side, you can see all these things were just created, right? And the next thing I'm going to do is tell it we want to scrape leads. So we have this lead scraping skill. I'm just going to copy it. Once again, this is also a free resource. You can just click the link in my bio and you guys can take it. So I'm just going to hit. So I pasted the lead scraping skill. Now it's going to create the skill. And what we're going to want to do next is use Apify. So while this is creating the skill, go to Apify, go to the console. So I'm already logged into my clients folder. This is the lead scraping or the lead scraper that we're going to be using. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and copy this slug, go back to anti-gravity. Okay, great. This is the Apify scraper we're going to be using. I'm pasting the slug. And then I use Option Command for a new line, Option Command Enter. I'm also going to give anti-gravity the Apify key. So why don't I go to API and integrations, and I'm going to create a new token, and then I'm going to have this expire literally tomorrow. All right, cool. So let me copy this, go back to anti-gravity. Here's the Apify token that we're going to be using. Title it Cosmic Apify token, and then save it in the .env. Cool. So what's happening? We have the lead scraping skill. It's been created. We're giving it the exact Apify scraper that we want to use. It has the slug, and then now we've given it the Apify token. So at this point, it has everything that we need to run the scrape. So what you saw in the beginning of this video is literally what this was, but it was already set up. So what we have here is it's saved using this scraper. If I go to the .env file, you can see it at the top hand side right here. We have our Apify token. Now I recommend being a bit more detailed, right? And then bam, we're good to go. I don't know why that's like that, but it should be fine. Cool. So now everything is already set up. If you're in a different industry, if you are, oh, you know what? We haven't even told anti-gravity or Claude Code rather who we're scraping for. So go ahead and scrape leads for Cosmic using the token and scraper. So now what's going to happen is based off the 2-layer architecture, Claude Code is going to ask us who the ICP is, who the audience is. So he's going to need more context. It's already asking me. So if you just communicate with natural language, give it these tools, everything is executed for you at a pretty much in a conversation. So it's gonna check the Apify actors input schema, clarify what ICP we need. It's checking the Apify API to ensure that everything looks good, but it should ask me who we're scraping for. So it just asked me right now, what's the ICP for Cosmic? I need target, titles, company size, industry, all these things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, similar to how we did before, I had already saved the video production target earlier in my session context in a different folder, but this is completely fresh, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm looking to target video production companies, small companies that may create independent films, small commercials, movies, creative companies that are in video production specifically. I like industries adjacent to media production, since I've already scraped the media production industry keyword. That's good enough. Employee size should be small, 1 to 10, maximum 50 employees, but preferably between 1. What we need to do, completely slipped my mind, is set up the credentials.json, which allow Claude Code to access your Google Sheets once it's done and ready to export the scrape. Let me just remind Claude, we'll get to that after the scraping step. Check the actor's input directly through your own research. Do not use the Chrome extension. So while it's configuring all that, what we're going to do next is go to console.cloud.google.com. I'll just type in my password here. Okay, once you're inside the console, you're going to want to create a new project. So I already created one. It's called Anti-Gravity. And from here, you are going to want to go on the left-hand side, and you're going to want to find API access. I believe it might be somewhere like in the library. So let me see. Okay. Actually, okay, here it is. So right here, if you go to the left-hand side, you're going to want to go to library, which has APIs and services under it, but that's because it's in my recent. So if I go to view all products, there we go. If you go to view all products, it's going to be under management, and then we have API and services. Now right here, the enabled APIs and services, I have the Google Docs API and the Google Sheets API set up. But what you're going to want to do is go to, let's go back. I'm going to go to credentials and see how I have desktop client 1. Just pretend that that's not there. And then we can create new credentials, and we'll create an OAuth client ID. And this will be a desktop app. So we can call it desktop client 2. I'm going to delete this, but we have the client ID here, the client secret here. You're going to want to download the JSON. And now that we have the client secret here, JSON, go back to Anti-Gravity. And you can see that Anti-Gravity was working the entire time. And it looks like it's been running a couple of scrapes. So why don't I go over to my Apify. So you can see we ran one, got a result of 100. We ran another, maybe the filters weren't working. We ran another result of 50, we ran another result of 50. And the reason why you're seeing a bunch of different runs with short, little volume is because the quality is improved but mixed. So what's happening here is Claude Code is qualifying each run before we actually do a full run. And so now it's asking me, the filters captured mostly right industries, but company size is linking large orgs. How would you like to proceed? So let's tighten the filters. And while that's happening, we're going to give Claude Code the file that I just downloaded. So actually what I can do here is go to the YouTube demo folder, and in here, I'll just drop the JSON. So if I go to downloads, we have the client secret. We'll just rename this credentials.json. And then now I'm just going to drop it into the YouTube demo folder. Let me just make sure it made its way in there. Cool. So now the credentials.json is in here. And so now let me confirm that Claude Code can access my spreadsheet. Hey, I just dropped a credentials.json file inside the root of the folder. Can you go ahead and access that or use that to access my Google spreadsheets? Let me know if you are able to do so. Awesome. So while it's cooking up, let me just talk to you guys for a second. So this is what we've done so far. We've set up all the access that Claude Code needs to go ahead and scrape leads using natural language only. We also set up our credentials.json so that Claude Code now has access to our Google Docs and our Google Sheets. And I did this one time for my own local environment, but this process that you're witnessing, I've iterated on hundreds of times for clients. And so now what my process looks like is as simple as, hey, we have a new client, this is their ICP, or hey, we're targeting a new ICP for X client who I've already been working with. And Claude Code has iterated on this several times over that it usually gets it on the first run. And that's the beautiful thing about this. Once you configure it, that it only gets better. And that's exactly what it outlines in the 2-layer architecture file that I shared with you guys is Claude Code updates and the quality improves. So I actually just got some notification right away. So going back to anti-gravity, you can see that after we shared the credentials.json, Claude says he sees the credentials, the lead quality has improved. For Google Sheets, I'll need to set up OAuth authentication. So because I gave it the credentials, now it's capable of accessing and launching this browser for me to approve. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to hit allow. Awesome. Authentication flow is complete. So go back to anti-gravity. So I'm just going to have it create a new sheet. How about that? Now it's creating a new spreadsheet. Awesome. Cool. So now we have the lead scraping done. And this is in a brand new environment. So you guys saw me do this in a brand new folder that's untouched. This is how the quality should come out for you guys as well. Your ICP just might be a little bit different. That's all. But you can see that everything is here. It's clean. I always like to bold mine, keep it at the top, and then add some, freeze the headers. But this is everything that we have. We have the industry, job title, email, and then I'll do some additional enrichments for my outbound use case. But I hope this was useful for you guys. The last thing that you want to do with Claude Code is pretty much tell it, hey, this looks great. Go ahead and save the scripts that you use in their appropriate locations and update the session context and anything else needed to update. And so once I ask Claude Code to save everything in its appropriate locations for future use, that 2-layer architecture that I shared with you guys already gives it the infrastructure that it needs to save everything in its appropriate location. So if I just zoom in down over in the new structure, you can see, just glitched out on me. Cool. So here's the final structure. This was the folder that we're working with, the YT demo folder. We have a new skill that I gave you guys. Just click the link and you'll get it for free. It's the lead scraping.md. We have the .env with the new Apify token that we stored in there. Credentials.json, this is what allows us to access Google Sheets. And then we also have a new client. So as I had already discussed, Cosmic is the new client. We have a README, which is just a client overview and the spreadsheet links. So that's where it's going to store the spreadsheet that we generated and that you guys just saw. And then inside the ICP folder, inside the client folder is where you're going to see video production because that's who we targeted. So if you're a business and instead of a client folder, it might be your company's folder and you have several ICPs, now you can start building different audiences for different go-to-market go-to-market efforts. And you can just say, hey, we're targeting this ICP today. Go ahead and scrape that for me. And if you want to leverage AI inside of your business, just go ahead and book a call with me. We offer custom solutions as well as cold outbound. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.